Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a completely objective and honestly deeply fascinating look at the biological, neurological, and psychological impacts of outdoor play versus screen time. If you've ever wondered what is physically happening inside a child's brain and body when they trade the park for a tablet, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down the hard science of how our modern environments are literally shaping human development. So let's kick things off with a question that kind of flips the whole script on this topic. Are screens actively damaging brains, or are they simply replacing the very things that build them? You know, it's so easy to get caught up in that whole screen time guilt, but the scientific research actually points us toward a much more mechanical, biological understanding of child development. It's really less about what the screen does to you and way more about what the screen takes you away from.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the displacement effect, ocular health and dopamine, white matter integrity, attention restoration, executive function, and finally, how to balance green and screen time. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The displacement effect, or how we crowd out biological needs. We really need to neutralize the culture war around technology, right? And we can do that by focusing strictly on what screens actually replace in a child's day-to-day life. The absolutely crucial point here is this: excessive screen use isn't inherently evil. Instead, it creates this phenomenon known as the displacement effect. It basically acts as this powerful force that crowds out the multisensory experiences a developing brain biologically requires to grow. When a kid spends 2, 3, maybe 5 hours a day engaged in highly stimulating, sedentary digital behavior, that is time mathematically subtracted from physical activity, sleep, and the face-to-face interactions that literally wire their developing nervous system.
What's wild here is how these displaced, real-world experiences are the exact inputs a kid's brain needs to fire on all cylinders. When a child climbs a tree, they aren't just playing around, they're actively engaging their vestibular and proprioceptive systems. When they have a real face-to-face conversation, they're building complex social communication networks. Screens just kind of fail to provide this slow burn engagement, replacing it instead with these rapid, algorithm-driven rewards that simply don't demand the same full-body cognitive integration.
Moving on to Section 2, Ocular Health and the Dopamine Hypothesis, where we look at the protective mechanics of sunlight.
Okay, let's make our first anatomical stop at the physical eyes. Look at this number, 100,000 lux. Now, lux is just how we measure light intensity. Typical indoor lighting, which is where most screens are consumed, rarely breaks 500 lux. But outdoor environments, they provide anywhere from 10,000 to an incredible 100,000 lux. And here is the really surprising fact. You get that massive dose of light even on an overcast, cloudy day. Our eyes are literally biologically starved for light when we stay inside all day.
So why does that huge dose of sunlight matter so much? Well, it's an anatomical imperative, and it's explained by the dopamine hypothesis. When eyes are exposed to high-intensity outdoor light, the retina releases dopamine. Now, in this specific context, dopamine acts as a biological inhibitor. It literally puts the brakes on the axial elongation, which is just the physical lengthening of the eyeball. When children are stuck indoors doing near work on screens, they miss out on this dopamine release. That allows the eye to grow abnormally long, resulting in myopia or nearsightedness.
And the data absolutely backs this up. A massive study looking at over 7,400 Spanish children between the ages of 5 and 7 found a direct, undeniable correlation. Increased time spent on digital devices and near work was associated with significantly higher myopia rates. Conversely, the kids who spent more time outdoors showed a strong protective effect against nearsightedness. Time outdoors is literally a physical shield for your child's vision. Section 3, Neurobiology and White Matter, the structural impacts of our environments.
Going deeper into the physical brain, let's talk about white matter. Think of it as the brain's internal communication superhighway, connecting different regions so they can send signals back and forth efficiently. A landmark study published in JAMA Pediatrics actually used MRI scans to look at the brains of preschool-aged children, and what they discovered was that higher screen-based media use was associated with lower microstructural integrity in the exact white matter tracts responsible for language, literacy, and executive functioning. Once again, we see the brain is highly adaptable, physically organizing itself based on the specific environment it's exposed to.
This brings us to a really cool psychological concept called attention restoration theory. Just compare directed attention, which is what you use during schoolwork or fast-paced digital games, with soft fascination, which is what happens when you're out in nature. Directed attention requires exhausting mental effort to block out distractions, and it depletes super quickly, leaving kids fried and irritable. Soft fascination, on the other hand, is completely effortless.
Watching leaves sway in the wind or water flow in a creek gently captures attention without demanding exhausting focus. It acts as this amazing biological antidote, allowing the prefrontal cortex to just rest and recharge.
When you consolidate all this research side by side, it's pretty striking. You get a powerful look at the competing impacts of natural versus digital environments. Where nature supports organized connectivity in those white matter tracks, excess screens are associated with lower integrity. Where nature provides restorative soft fascination, screens demand depleting directed attention. And where nature offers holistic five-sense engagement, digital media relies heavily on just visual and auditory dominance. It's a massive contrast in what we could call cognitive nutrition.
Section 4. Restoring attention and ADHD. Using nature as a therapeutic tool.
Now, looking outward at psychological behavior, we hit this absolutely staggering finding from environmental psychologist Mark Berman's Walk in the Park study. He found that a simple walk in nature has a robust, measurable capacity to restore directed attention. Get this. For children diagnosed with ADHD, a short nature walk provided symptom improvements that were literally equivalent to taking a dose of Ritalin. I mean, that is the sheer medicinal power of green space going to work on the neurological system.
A big part of this restorative magic is tied directly to our circadian rhythms, the master clock of the body. Balancing light exposure acts as a biochemical regulator. Artificial blue light from screens, especially in the evening, tricks the brain into suppressing melatonin, our sleep hormone. Just a few hours of this can shift a child's sleep cycle by up to 3 hours. Conversely, morning sunlight not only entrains that master clock for optimal daytime alertness and nighttime sleep, but it also prompts the skin to synthesize crucial vitamin D.
Section 5. Fostering executive function, the cognitive ecology of play.
Stepping into the realm of cognitive outcomes and school readiness, I absolutely love this specific example from the source material because it perfectly illustrates the magic of unstructured outdoor exploration. Imagine a child out looking for bugs with a pair of binoculars. To us, they're just playing, but neurologically, their prefrontal cortex is firing on all cylinders. They're practicing sustained attention to find the bug, visual discrimination to identify it, and planning where to look next. Natural environments demand active, child-led problem solving rather than just passive consumption.
Think about how different this is from a video game. Digital games have fixed, pre-programmed solutions, but navigating a physical, natural environment, it's totally unpredictable. Nature enhances inhibitory control and builds cognitive flexibility. When a kid jumps across a stream or climbs a tree, they are forced to do real-time risk calculation. They have to regulate their fear internally and adapt to a constantly changing environment. This is exactly how you foster deep, lasting emotional resilience.
Section 6. Balancing green and screen time, or what we call the natural realignment.
So how do we actually navigate this modern developmental dilemma? Well, the research points to 3 clear, actionable steps to crowd nature back into our daily routines. Step 1. Prioritize unstructured, child-led play to foster working memory and inhibitory control. Step 2. Plan consistent, regular nature exploration. It's the consistency over time that really builds these cognitive and ocular gains. And step 3, when you absolutely must be indoors, use biophilic design. Open those windows to let in that high-lux natural light and bring in plants to leverage the brain's incredible adaptability for healing and growth.
Ultimately, we really have to challenge ourselves to stop viewing time in nature as just a luxury or some nice thing to do on a sunny weekend. The data is crystal clear. It is a fundamental biological imperative for ocular health, brain connectivity, and emotional regulation. Green space is quite literally medicine. So the question I want to leave you with today is this: what small change can you make today to realign your environment and find your balance? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope you're walking away with a fresh perspective on the incredible power of the great outdoors.